Huh. Hey everybody, welcome. Economic Ninja here on This Will Make You Rich channel, the educational channel. I want to talk today about XRP and how to be XRP prepared, because there's some price movements and cycles that are happening that are very important. I'm going to talk about this from a very practical standpoint, and none of this is going to be financial advice. I sold 90% of my XRP back, my trading block of XRP back in last spring and summer. And I've moved in and out very quickly on some big price moves and made some great money. And I want to teach people how to do that kind of stuff. That's important. And the first thing, we're going to talk about the latest move in volume versus price when it is in relation to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But before I touch on that or talk about that, I want to talk about where we are in the actual overall crypto market. The fact is the entire crypto market is down. A lot of people in the retail investment space, in the retail investment space, they like to point fingers and go, hey, this coin is down and that coin is down. And they don't have the proper education to understand that the entire market's down. This is like the Great Recession in stocks during 2008, where the entire market was taken down. The Dow Jones was down by 50%, just like when it was down 50% during the dot-com crash. The NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell 2000, and all of those projects were down. All those, indexes were down at the same time. This is how cycles work. Markets all work together in the grand scheme of things. So right now, the entire crypto market is down. As you can see, Bitcoin is off of its $126,000 high, and I believe that's the high, and it's down, it's 68,000. Now, the other day, Bitcoin popped 8.5%. Do me a favor, yes or no? Do you guys remember that? 8.5%, it popped on a day where the president was cheering crypto and that all this great stuff was gonna happen. Ethereum that day was also up 8%. It's very important to understand what's happening here. The other day when I bought XRP and I did sort of a symbolic move on the Economic Ninja channel, I said I bought back all the XRP that I'd sold for half price. All right. That afternoon or evening, I don't remember, it was like 9 hours later, or maybe it was the next day, I sold it for a 28% gain. And the reason why, and in that video, I explained something very clearly, and now I'm gonna explain it again, but it's to a different price movement that's happening right now. It's very important that people understand this. When XRP normally moves versus Bitcoin or Ethereum, it moves between a 1.5 or a 2x, meaning if Bitcoin goes up 5%, on average, XRP during a bull cycle is up twice as much. Now do me a favor, because I want to make sure people are listening. Type 1 if that makes sense. During an up cycle, XRP moves 1.5 to 2 times the percentage rise as Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now, something has shifted specifically with XRP in the last handful of months, and that is all of the amazing news that people, and I use XRP as a straight example because a lot of people are straight up brainwashed when it comes to XRP. They are told complete fantasies when it comes to the price. Let me give you an example. Even last year, when I was talking about a blow off top in the crypto markets, the altcoin markets, I said I wouldn't be surprised if XRP went up to between $12 and $18 during a blow off top. Now, it never hit that blow off top because we never had the blow off top. We had a crash on October 10th, perpetrated by Binance, not the company, but the exchange. That's where it started. And it led to an absolute bloodbath in October, which usually foretells a stock market downturn ahead of time, because it also foretells an upturn in the stock market, because crypto is so much more sensitive to price movements based off of human emotion. Okay, man, I hope I'm type yes or no. Are you guys sticking with me right now? So something shifted because all this great news, the SEC coming out and saying that XRP was going to be It's going to be allowed. The lawsuits dropped. All these funds are going to be able to use it for ETFs. All this stuff came out. Yet the price continued its downward slide. Well, what happened was a huge capitulation of sellers began. Okay, people started to walk away, and what happened just 3 days ago is a huge sign of what is to come for XRP and the greater markets. But XRP, I believe, is going to fall farther. The reason why is because the other day when Bitcoin popped 8% and Ethereum popped 8.5%, XRP was only up between 4.5%, 5%. That was a huge sign to me because retail has not only completely left the building, I believe, because of the volumes, are starting to capitulate and sell at either a loss or at a lower gain than they expected when they bought it a year ago. You're seeing a big turnover right now. And when you see, mouth gets dry. When you start to see that, it's a big sign that during the next downturn, and I'm still holding, I believe you're going to see much, much lower Bitcoin prices because of a pull down in the stock market. The Dow Jones just had its worst week in about a year, okay? You saw that Bitcoin price pops up to like what, 74, 76,000, I believe. And now we're sitting currently at 67,800 because of the pulling forces of the stock market. Now, as of right now, just the filming of this video, Bitcoin is down 1.4%. XRP is down 0.5%. And you would think, well, that's good, Ninja, because that means XRP is not taking as big of a loss today as Bitcoin. However, when you click on the charts, let me pull it back to 1 week. You look at the volume, the daily volume for let's see. Let me see what 1 month looks like. Yeah, 1 week. The daily volume right here, right? It's actually pretty muted, meaning nobody's freaking out and selling, right? Today versus Bitcoin. So that's a low for the week in volume. The volume today versus the last 7 days is low. Now, when you compare that, and I'm doing this live, I don't know what the reality is, but I'm pretty sure I know. Volume in Bitcoin, this is today, this is the whole week. If you look at this volume, it's not at the exact lows. So a little bit more volume running on a weekly basis today on Bitcoin than there is in XRP. However, I think that you're seeing people finally capitulate, and because of increased inflation that you're going to see at the fuel pump this week, next week, I think in the weeks to come, a lot of fear being driven in the markets about inflation coming. The bond rates are rising, meaning mortgage rates are going up. You're going to see all these crazy news headlines. That my new Economic Ninja news channel is going to have all kinds of stuff to talk about. You're going to see more and more sellers capitulate. People that aren't investors, that don't understand how these cycles work. Let me ask you this so far. Type 99 if you're like, this is so information. This isn't blowing my mind. Type 100 if you're going, hey, I never thought of this way. The reason why I want to get your opinion on this is because I think once you start thinking extremely practically, what happens when it comes to XRP or crypto, you're going to start winning after winning after winning. And what'll happen is it'll make it a lot easier for you to start going, hey, you know what? I'm up a lot. I should be pulling back my initial investment plus some profit. That's what very few people do. And then when it goes down, they want to blame people like me and other successful investors. And I say successful because it took me 15 years to finally come to this point in my life, actually 17 years. And it was crypto that broke me when I started to see these cycles, because crypto cycles are so smashed tighter. You know, the average crypto cycle is 4.5 years, but it's actually going to get a lot tighter soon. I do not believe we're going through a 4.5 year cycle. I actually believe we are in the middle of a bull run because we're going to hyperinflate. I think printing presses are going to go on high speed. And so we're going to have a big dip, in the stock market, 20%, right? That's not big. And that'll also dip Bitcoin pretty harsh, harsher than 20% from where it is right now. And what you're going to see is the printing presses turn on, and it's going to lead to a mini hyperinflation, just a mini one. It's going to be a little sustained for like a year or so, but it's going to be mini. It's going to seem like this amazing euphoria at first, and then it's going to be oh crap, we're hyperinflating. But by then, the current president will be out of office. All right? So that's why we have to be XRP prepared. I'm trying to do a play on words, that title, because there's going to be a dip and then there's going to be a rip. And if you're not ready for it, you'll just be sitting and spinning like a bunch of retail investors. And that's not what I want for you. I go into more depth in this in my courses. Oh, there's something else too. I'm going to throw out a sale today because people are emailing me and freaking out over 1099 DAs from Coinbase and all these big exchanges and the taxes. So if you want the Crypto Tax Pro course, the link's down below. It's taught by myself and a rock star CPA that is a solid real investor in crypto, knows a lot of stuff, and does taxes for wealthy people. So we put that course together for people because a lot of people are going to overpay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go on my other channel here in a couple hours or so, and I'm going to talk about the fact that news publications are picking up what I warned everyone about 4 months ago, that people are about to severely overpay in taxes because of a scheme set up and the way the 1099s and the IRS are doing their reporting. It's very scary. And for me, as an active crypto trader, we had over 500,000 trades last year on one account. I take this stuff very seriously. So I don't say that bragging. This is a very serious, scary thing for a lot of people. And a lot of people are just going to take their document and go, that doesn't seem right. I don't have that much in my account. It says I made 5 times, no joke, 5 times. I've already seen the documents from people. And I didn't make that. But they're going to end up giving it to their tax preparer and overpaying in taxes. And then you're going to find out next year that because you just paid the tax, you still need to figure out the cost basis because of how it affects other sales and purchases this year. It is going to be an absolute nightmare, but I believe it's being done on purpose. You want a conspiracy theory? There's the one. All right. With that being said, thanks again for everybody watching this channel and subscribing. This is my pure education channel where I put all kinds of education out for free. I just put one out yesterday on how to build your credit score up. I've got another one on 5 tips on how to blow your credit score up. It's all free. There are call outs to courses because that's how I make my money. Google ad revenue is not what people think it is. And if you do, you should start a YouTube channel. All right, with that being said, this will make you rich, and the Economic Ninja, that's a lot of words, is out. See you, everyone.